very good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Theruni Karunaratna. Here are tonight's top stories. A public service that upholds professionalism and fulfills its responsibilities is what the country needs, says the President.
සමහර ආයතනවලට පැවරී තිබෙනවා නිශ්චිත වගකීම. ඒ වගකීම පිළිබඳව පුරවැසියන්ගේ බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තිබෙනවා. එහෙත් ඔවුන් වෘත්තීය එම ජනතාවට එරෙහිවම කටයුතු කරන අතලොස්සක් ඉන්න බව අපි දන්නවා.
Detention orders issued for the 3 people who provided protection to Ishara Sewandi. Political connections behind drugs and crime will be revealed in the future, says Minister Lal Kanta.
පාතාලයේ මර්ධනයට සහ මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය මර්ධනයකට එරෙහි මත දක්වන බවක් ඕනම කෙනෙකුට හැඟෙනවා. ඒවා ඉදිරියේදී සමාජගත වෙයි.
UNP SJB collaboration report to be presented to the SJB Management Committee next Wednesday. Heavy rain of 100 millimeters expected in several regions. In our top story this evening, President Anurukumara Dissanayake says that the country needs a public service that fulfills its professional responsibilities diligently. Addressing a Sri Lanka Air Force event held today in Trincomalee, the President stated that the Air Force will be entrusted with a special responsibility in combating the drug menace.
Presidential colours were presented to the No. 3 Maritime Squadron of the Sri Lanka Air Force. Cadet officers were commissioned and flight badges were awarded today at the Sri Lanka Air Force Academy, China Bay in Trincomalee, under the leadership of President Anurukumara Dissanayake. The Sri Lanka Air Force rendered a ceremonial salute to the President, who also inspected the parade.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a short while you will...
A total of 66 cadet officers and other officers were commissioned during the ceremony. Flight badges were awarded to officers who completed the 103rd Flying Cadet Officer course, presented personally by the President. The President also took part in presenting special awards to cadet officers who displayed exceptional skills during the course.
Of Mr. and Mrs. Wickramasinghe and
Today, you are joining one of the most prestigious forces in Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka Air Force. You carry an immense responsibility for the protection and future of our motherland. I firmly believe that among our current duties, patrolling and safeguarding the country's maritime boundaries as a state of utmost importance. You are aware that within our maritime limits, there have been incidents involving illegal migrants and the smuggling of illicit goods, including drugs. And in recent times, even some weapons have been brought into our homeland. Therefore, securing these waters is not only a duty, it is the expectation and hope of the people living in this country. It is also important to recognize that the drug-related crimes we face today are not isolated acts of smuggling or mere criminal activity. They are often intertwined with politics and involve certain elements of state mechanisms. Some parts of high-level governance have either directly or indirectly contributed to these criminal networks. This corruption and criminal activity have been spreading toward our shores, which makes maritime surveillance and enforcement critical. Thus, the responsibility placed on you is to carry out these surveillance duties with precision, ensuring the safety and prosperity of our citizens. This is the duty entrusted to you, and it is one we hold in the highest regard. You must also understand that many professions in our country do not enjoy such a noble purpose. While these professions exist to ensure public security, there is often negligence in their execution. Some institutions have clearly defined responsibilities, and citizens have a legitimate expectation that these duties will be fulfilled. Salaries and benefits are paid using taxpayers' money. Yet, we are aware that in some cases, professionals act contrary to the interests of the public. This occurs at both higher and lower levels of administration. As a result, the professional standards within certain branches of the state mechanism have significantly declined. However, I can proudly say that our Air Force has successfully maintained its professionalism at a very high level. I trust that none of you will squander this invaluable opportunity and that you will fulfill your responsibilities diligently for your own future, for the protection of our motherland and for the well-being of the public.
Following the ceremony, the President also attended an Air Force exhibition.
193ක් සම්පූර්ණ කර ඇති විශේෂ පුහුණු අධ්‍යක්ෂක යාකපොඩ ජගත් කොඩකන්ද නිලධාරීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා.
Meanwhile, the two-day NDTV World Summit 2025 held in New Delhi, India, concluded today. Addressing the summit, Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri emphasized that the government is ready to work in collaboration with the international community, including India, to build a prosperous Sri Lanka.
The 2025 NDTV World Summit was held at Bharat Mandap in New Delhi, India, under the patronage of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The summit was attended by several international leaders and state officials, including former UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott. This year's summit focused on global transformations occurring amid instability and uncertainty. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri addressed the summit yesterday.
Sri Lanka's path has been challenging. The past few years have been a lesson in both fragility and fortitude. As you know, Sri Lanka faced a period of severe economic and political crisis in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Economic instability, shortages, and institutional challenges were compounded by political uncertainty, testing the nation's governance and social cohesion. Under President Kumara Dissanayaka's leadership, we have chosen to take responsible risks. We have reaffirmed our commitment to sound macroeconomic management and fiscal discipline. We are restructuring debt, modernizing governance, digitizing public services, seeking to implement structural reforms under the IMF Extended Fund Facility, increasing revenue through fairer taxation, protecting social safety nets for the most vulnerable, and encouraging investment. While risk ignites change, it is resolve that sustains it. The IMF's latest assessment acknowledges Sri Lanka's recovery, and the World Bank's Public Finance Review of September this year acknowledges Sri Lanka's fiscal consolidation as one of the largest in the country's history, equal to about 8% of GDP over 3 years. Both the IMF and the World Bank remind us that progress is fragile and that we must stay the path. We launched GovPay, a unified digital payment gateway for government services, and are integrating e-identity systems, open data portals, and online procurement to eliminate the opaque middle ground where corruption thrives. We are deeply aware that laws alone cannot cleanse or build a nation, and that values are necessary. As India positions itself as a global manufacturing hub under the vision of Viksit Bharat, Sri Lanka could serve a complementary production base, particularly in sectors such as textiles, electronics, and food processing, supporting regional economic growth and collaboration. I would like to take this opportunity to warmly invite the people of India, as well as the Indian business community, to visit and rediscover Sri Lanka. India's rise, coupled with its inclusive approach, provides an anchor of stability. For Sri Lanka, this partnership embodies a shared belief that what we achieve more and rise stronger when we rise together.
Sri Lanka police say that the 3 individuals arrested for sheltering Sirasa, the prime female suspect in the Ganemulla Sanjeeva murder, are being questioned under 72-hour detention orders. The detention orders were issued for police constable, the mother of Sudha, an associate of Mathugama Shan who is currently overseas, and another close associate of Shan.
The suspects were taken into custody yesterday after the Colombo Crimes Division conducted inspections at locations where Sewandi had been hiding following the murder. Ishara has told the police that she had been hiding in several locations for 3 months after the murder of Ganemulle Sanjeeva. She informed the investigating officers that she had been hiding in Mathugama and Middenia in Matara. Ishara Sewandi was facilitated to hide in Mathugama by Sudha, a disciple of Mathugama Shan who is currently overseas. Investigations have revealed that he had provided her accommodation at his mother's house. The arrested police constable and a non-commissioned officer of the Alutgama police The police stated that he is married to the daughter of the woman whose house provided accommodation to Sirasa in Matugama. The police added that the criminal named Sudha has also gone abroad by now. The organized criminal named Matugama Shan, who helped Sirasa hide in Matugama, has previously had close ties with many powerful politicians. Police said that information has emerged showing that Matugama Shan also gave Padme the firearm to kill Paspodda, who had killed Khelbhadra Padme's father. She fled Matugama and then hid in a house in Middenia. Police say that the house belongs to the suspect, currently in custody, who is accused of planning the killing of Harakata while posing as a journalist. Information has revealed that this suspect is also a follower of Matugama Shan. Sirasa, who was arrested while hiding in Nepal, is currently being held in the custody of the Colombo Crimes Division.
Let's move on to more local news. The Police Narcotics Bureau says that the suspects apprehended in the Galle seize with 53 kilograms of heroin will be produced in court today, and detention orders are expected to be obtained.
The Sri Lankan Navy recovered a stock of approximately 53 kilograms and 134 grams of heroin from a multi-day fishing vessel that was brought to the Galle harbour yesterday under their custody. 5 suspects on board were handed over by the Navy to the Police Narcotics Bureau. The Navy carried out this seizure on the 16th of October based on information they had received.
Meanwhile, a jailer serving at the Kaluthara Javatta prison was taken into custody today by the police on suspicion of involvement in drug trafficking. Questioning of the jailer has now begun under a 3-day detention order. The police stated that the jailer was apprehended based on information received from a prison canteen employee. The suspect is a resident of Vaskadua. 3 suspects have been taken into custody for transporting drugs on a private passenger bus travelling from Colombo to Ampara. The police stated that the suspects were apprehended during a search conducted early this morning following information received by the Ampara Police Headquarters Inspector. Those taken into custody include the person transporting the drugs, the bus driver and the conductor. The police have seized over 10 grams of ice and heroin from the suspects. During questioning, it was revealed that they have been operating this trafficking network for a long period of time. Minister K.D. Lalkant meanwhile stated that the political links behind the drug and crimes network in Sri Lanka will be publicly revealed in the near future.
Drugs, the criminal networks associated with them and the murders connected to these activities cannot continue without the protection of those in power. The current government is now taking a firm stance specifically on dismantling these networks, particularly the black market operations, the black economy, drugs and the associated criminal networks. The key point is that the current political leadership has no connection with the drug trade or the criminal underworld, because there is no such connection. The relevant institutions have been given full freedom to act independently and carry out proper legal procedures. As a result, both the police and the criminal investigation department are operating very effectively. This is the situation that is clearly visible today.
ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා ඒක තමයි දැන් මේ විශේෂයෙන් පේන්න තියෙන තත්ත්වය.
රජය අඳුනාගෙන තියනවාද මේක පිටිපස්සේ දේශපාලනයේ බලවත් දේශපාලන පිටිපස්සේ තියනවා කියලා?
අනිවාර්යෙන් තිබිය යුතුයි.
Absolutely. Such connections must exist, even though they have been revealed through recent incidents. The opposition's political actions, the way they express their opinions in parliament and how they behave in response to these operations. When all of this is considered, demonstrates that they speak out against these crackdowns. It is clear to anyone that they are opposing the efforts to combat the criminal networks and drug trade. These connections and influences will be made public in due course.
ඒ නිසා සම්බන්ධයක් තිබිය යුතුයි. ඒවා ඉදිරියේදී සමාජගත වෙයි.
Newsfirst with the people.
The Met Department says that heavy rainfall of up to around 100 millimeters is still possible in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, Uva, north central, eastern and northwestern provinces. Showers or thunder showers are also likely in many other parts of the island.
During the 24-hour window, which concluded at 8:30 am today, the highest rainfall in the country was recorded in Ranurava, Anuradhapura. The recorded amount was 95 millimeters. With the heavy rainfall, the water level in the Rajagane reservoir has risen. Our Newsfirst correspondent reported that 6 sluice gates are currently open. The water level of the Kalavaeva has also risen and 2 sluice gates have been opened there as well. Our Newsfirst correspondent also says that both emergency sluice gates of the Angamur reservoir has been opened by now. 4 sluice gates of the Daduru Oya have been opened due to the rainfall. Heavy rainfall in the Central Hills has caused 4 sluice gates of the Pulgolla barrage to be opened, releasing water into the Victoria reservoir. At the Dambulla Ibbankutu reservoir, 5 sluice gates have been opened. The Reservoir Management Engineering Office of the Mahavali Authority has informed the public residing near the Dambulla Oya to exercise caution and take necessary precautions. Due to the heavy rainfall, several paddy fields in Habaragalawatta in Ballymurray have been destroyed. Our Newsfirst correspondent reported that 2 houses have also sustained damage. With the ongoing rainfall, the landslide warnings issued covering 10 districts continue to remain in effect. Senior geologist of the National Building Research Organisation, Vasanta Senadira, stated that warnings have been issued for areas in the Badulla, Gaul, Gampaha, Kandy, Kegol, Kurunegala, Matale, Monaragala, Nuwara and Ratnapura districts.
දිවයිනේ හවස් කාලයේ ගිගුරුන් සහිත වසි වර්ධනය සඳහා හිතකර වායුගෝලීය තත්ත්වයන් පවතී.
By evening, atmospheric conditions are expected to favor rain with thunderstorms across the island. Heavy rainfall of up to 100 millimeters in some areas is likely in Sabaragamuwa, Central, Uva, North Central, Northwestern and Eastern provinces. Coastal areas can expect scattered showers with thunderstorms. Winds will generally be variable, reaching speeds of 20 to 30 kilometers an hour. But along the coastal belt from Gaul to Hambantota via Matara, winds may reach up to 45 kilometers an hour, making seas rough. Winds will be mainly from the southwest or variable, reaching speeds of 20 to 30 kilometers an hour. This is a reminder to fishermen and naval personnel that during rain and thunderstorms, temporary high-speed winds in coastal areas can cause rough seas.
Attorney at Law Gunaratna Bandinayaka arrived at the Mount Lavinia police station this morning. Police stated that Attorney at Law Gunaratna Bandinayaka came to provide a statement along with a witness. On the 15th of October, Bandinayaka appeared before the Mount Lavinia court and was released on 2 sureties of 500,000 rupees each. Police had presented several allegations against him in court, including obstructing the duties of a police officer stemming from an incident that took place at the Mount Lavinia court premises. SJB General Secretary Ranjit Madhuma Bandara says that the report of the committee appointed by the party regarding collaboration with the United National Party will be presented to the management committee next Wednesday.
පක්ෂ දෙකේ කමිටු දෙක තාම රැස්ුන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් අපේ අපිපත් කරපු කමිටුවේ වාර්තාව ලබන බදාදක් කළමනාකරන කමිටුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. ඉතින් සාකච්ඡා සාර්ථක වෙනවා කියන එක තමයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. දැන් ඔබතුමාලාම තමයි කලින් ප්‍රකාශයක් කරේ කවදාවත් මේ බැඳුම් කර හොරු සමග ඒ වගේ අයත් එක්ක ගනුදෙනු කරපු එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් එක්ක එකතු වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. දැන් මෙහෙම එකතුවක් ගැන කතා කරනකොට ඔබතුමාලාට ඒක චෝදනාත්මකව ඔබතුමාලාගෙන් අහන්නේ නැද්ද? මම මෙතන ඉන්න අපි කවුරුත් එහෙම ප්‍රකාශයක් කොහෙවත් කළා නැහැ.
So, what exactly was the statement made by the General Secretary of the Samagi Janabala Vegya back then?
The president, who came to power through parliament rather than by public vote, says, let us forget all past issues. When he says, let us forget the past, does he mean forgetting the dollars held abroad as revealed in the Pandora Papers? Does that mean forgetting the fraud, forgetting the sugar tax scam, forgetting the fraud of the hedging inquiry, forgetting the bond scam? These are questions we wish to ask.
The number of foreign tourists who have arrived in the country so far this year has exceeded 1.8 million. Accordingly, the total number of tourists who have visited the country to date is 1,801,151. During the first 15 days of this month alone, 75,657 tourists have arrived. The highest number of tourists came from India, totaling 396,274. Significant numbers of tourists also arrived from the United Kingdom, Russia, Germany, China, France, Australia, the Netherlands and the United States. Meanwhile, in the first 9 months of this year, revenue from tourism amounted to $2,472.9 million US. In comparison, last year's revenue was $2,348 million US. The total number of tourists who visited the country last year was 2,053,465.
A single drop of clean drinking water remains a dream for many people in some parts of our country. In a village in Pesale, Mana, Gammadda turned that dream into reality. For years, the people of the Tullikudu Iripu village in Pesale, Mana have struggled with the lack of clean drinking water. Alongside their livelihoods in the fisheries industry, they held on to the hope of having access to safe water. Today, that hope became a reality. The water filtration system built by Gammadda in the Tullikudu Iripu village was officially handed over to the people. This project was generously supported in memory of the late Dr. Tyagaraja Nagendra by retired auditor P. Sivendra and his wife. On this momentous occasion, nutrition packs were also distributed to pregnant mothers. Gammadda, for the people, by the people. Shaping a nation, conquering the world. The Elephant House Superheroes Grand Finale celebrated the spirit of the next generation of innovators this evening. The event took place at Stein Studios in Ratmalana.
Elephant House Superheroes.
A total of 135 schools from across the island took part in the Elephant House Superheroes competition, which was held under 3 main categories. 9 schools advanced to the grand finale held today. The 3 competition categories were Super Chef, Super Harvester and Super Entrepreneur. Aiming to nurture talented young chefs for Sri Lanka's culinary industry, the Super Chef category was won by the Palle Kanugala Junior School in Behiovita. The Super Entrepreneur category, designed to inspire innovation and entrepreneurship in the country's food sector, was won by the Thabu Tegama National School. Meanwhile, the Super Harvester category, which focused on uplifting Sri Lanka's agricultural industry through modern technology, was won by the Bandaragama Central College. The award for the most popular concept was presented to the Riki Lagaskada Denike Secondary School.
MTV Private Limited Pradhana Vidayaka Nilidhari Yasarat Kamalsiri Mahatmat, Evagema MTV Madhijali Adhyaksha Velada, Shiraj Shannon Mahatmat එකතු වෙනවා.
Colombo came alive last night as Sluscom hosted Control Alt Rock, Sri Lanka's biggest ever corporate rock showdown.
The Sri Lanka Association for Software and Services Companies, or SLASCOM, successfully hosted Control Alt Rock, the first ever intercompany band and solo singing competition within Sri Lanka's IT and BPM sector. This landmark event brought together professionals from across the industry, providing a platform to showcase their musical talents beyond the boundaries of the workplace. Audiences were treated to an evening of exceptional performances featuring a diverse lineup ranging from high-energy rock bands to powerful solo vocalists.
The picture, the winning moment with trophy in hand.
Flights out of Bangladesh's main airport were delayed or diverted today after a major fire broke out in the cargo terminal. 36 firefighting units are working to douse the flames. A large fire broke out today in the cargo terminal of Bangladesh's main airport, forcing the suspension of all flight operations as firefighters and military units rushed to contain the blaze. Operations at Dhaka's Hazrat Shah Jalal International Airport were suspended, and an airport official said that all aircraft are safe. There was no immediate information as to what may have caused the blaze. Both domestic and international flights were affected. An Indigo flight from Delhi to Dhaka was diverted to Kolkata, and an Air Arabia flight from Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates was sent on to Chittagong. Officials said that Cathay Pacific flight from the sky after failing to the Dhaka airport. The Army, Navy and Air Force joined the fire service in efforts to bring the blaze under control. In the most recent development in the Afghanistan-Pakistan clashes, the Afghanistan Cricket Board cancelled a cricket tournament in which Pakistan was to participate. The development comes after 3 Afghan cricketers were killed in a Pakistan airstrike late on Friday.
Pakistan's military carried out strikes in southeastern Afghanistan on Friday, just hours after a 2-day ceasefire between the neighboring countries expired. At least 10 people were killed in the fresh strikes in Afghanistan, according to Taliban officials who claimed that Pakistan bombed 3 locations in Paktika province. Expressing grief over the killings of the cricketers, the Afghanistan Cricket Board announced its withdrawal from the upcoming Tri-Nation T20 International Series between Pakistan, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. The clashes erupted overnight on Tuesday in the remote area spanning southeastern Afghanistan's Spin Boldak district and Pakistan's Chaman district. At least 170 people have been injured and 40 are dead. The clashes along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border coincided with Taliban administration's Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi's visit to India this week, which became the first such trip by a senior Taliban official since the group seized power in 2021. Following the border clashes between the two sides, Pakistan and the Taliban-led Afghan government agreed to a 48-hour ceasefire beginning Wednesday evening. The two sides reportedly agreed to extend their 48-hour ceasefire until the conclusion of talks in Doha. In a statement, Pakistan's foreign ministry said both countries had committed to using dialogue to find a positive solution to what it described as a complex yet resolvable issue. There was no immediate confirmation on the matter from the Taliban government. China, Russia, Saudi Arabia and Qatar have all urged restraint and dialogue.
Prince Andrew has announced in a personal statement that he is giving up his titles, including the Duke of York. Prince Andrew has been under increasing pressure over his links with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, with calls for Buckingham Palace to take action against him. That now seems to have resulted in the prince deciding to voluntarily hand back his titles and to give up membership of the Order of the Garter, the oldest and the most senior order of chivalry in Britain. In his statement, he said he continued to vigorously deny the accusations against him. The statement said, quote, "In discussion with the King and my immediate and wider family, we have concluded the continued accusations about me distract from the work of His Majesty and the royal family," unquote. The statement went on to say, quote, "I have decided, as I always have, to put my duty to my family and country first." With His Majesty's agreement, we feel I must now go a step further. I will therefore no longer use my title or the honours which have been conferred upon me." Unquote. Andrew's decision to stop using his titles was made in consultation with William, the Prince of Wales, as well as the King. He will remain a prince, but will cease to be the Duke of York, a title received from his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth. And in local news once again, the Deepaloka Diwali literary discussion was held in Jaffna today.
The Deepaloka Diwali literary discussion was held at the Thiruvalluvar Cultural Centre in Jaffna under the patronage of Dr. Hiniduma Sunil Senavi, Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs. Members of Parliament, the Jaffna District Government agent, artists and many others participated in the event. A book exhibition, literary speeches and artistic events were held at the event. Identity cards for the artists were also distributed on the occasion.
Jaffna is a great heritage with a lot of knowledge. These heritages are now being ruined. Yesterday, I went to Arumuga Navala house in the Archaeological Museum. He is a great literate. We saw his books. Unfortunately, the museum is in very sad state, unattracted by tourists and flooded with rain. In a very poor condition, I also went to the Mantri Mansion, the official minister's house. The monument on this private land has been gazetted. Security has been restricted by laws written in books. We must overcome it. Therefore, the institutions under my ministry must be modernized, and I have obtained cabinet approval for 5 or 6 bills and drafts to amend these laws.
This is a very important historical day because for the first time we are celebrating the month of literature together. Still we have lots of problems to overcome because we don't get Tamil translations, we don't in Sinhala, and many Sinhala books won't get into the Tamil language. So in future our cultural ministry hopes to overcome all these difficulties, and today we are going to have discussions and share our ideas with all Jaffna writers and some other artists.
After an 8-year hiatus, Sri Lankan sports fans can once again have the opportunity to experience the thrill of an Asia Rugby Sevens tournament on home soil. This comes as the second leg of the 2025 Asia Rugby Emirates Men's Sevens Series kicked off at the Colombo Racecourse.
The first leg of the tournament was held last month in China. The second leg, which features both men's and women's categories, is officially partnered by the Sirasa Media Network.
It's try time here in Colombo as we are witnessing the second leg of the Asia Rugby Emirates 7 Series played here in Sri Lanka at the Colombo Racecourse. So we started our day at 9 AM in the morning and it's night and we are playing under lights after a very long time, an international championship of rugby, and Sri Lanka took on a few nations as the men's team won against Uzbekistan and also they won against Singapore, and they will be waiting for their next match, the third match of the day and the final match of their final round, and they'll be taking on China in a short while. And talking about the championship, this is played in Sri Lanka after 8 long years. This is full of excitement and this is something that you don't want to miss out because there's a lot of passion, a lot of enthusiasm building up of the second leg because this is played in Sri Lanka after 8 long years. And if you're on Colombo, we invite you to come tomorrow because it's the final few stages and that is something that you don't want to miss out. Reporting to you, I am Budminamara Divakara for Newsfirst.
The Sri Lanka men's team, competing in their first match of the day, defeated Uzbekistan by 26 points to 14. In their second encounter, Sri Lanka took on Singapore, winning convincingly by 22 points to 5. Meanwhile, Malaysia, Hong Kong, the United Arab Emirates, Japan and China also emerged victorious in their men's category matches today. In the women's division, Sri Lanka's first match was won by their opponents, Thailand. India, Japan, Malaysia and China were the other teams to record victories in their women's matches held today. In line with the second leg of the 2025 Asia Rugby Emirates Men's 7 Series, a tree planting initiative was launched today under the patronage of Asia Rugby President Kais Aldalai. Several officials from Asia Rugby and Sri Lanka Rugby also attended the event. The initiative has been named A Try, a Tree. Organized jointly by Asia Rugby and the Planet Protector organization, the project aims to promote sustainability in sports and environmental conservation across Asia. Former Sri Lanka Rugby President Nalin De Silva is leading the initiative in Sri Lanka. He stated that during upcoming Asian rugby tournaments, one tree will be planted for each try scored as part of the project's mission. The program officially commenced today at the Devanna Sports Ground, where 24 rare plant species were planted to mark its beginning.
The 19th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2025 between New Zealand and Pakistan has been called off due to persistent rain. Held at the R. Premadasa International Cricket Stadium in Colombo, the game was already shortened to 36 overs per side after early showers. Batting first, Pakistan women reached 92 for 5 in 25 overs before rain returned, eventually leading to the abandonment of the match. Now all matches of the tournament are being broadcast live on TV1, the official local broadcasting rights holder of the 2025 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup, and streamed online via www.sirasatv.lk.
New Zealand, having won the toss, decided to field first. Accordingly, Munibali and Omaima Sohali opened the innings for Pakistan. Both of their opening wickets fell when the team had reached 30 runs. Munibali was dismissed after scoring 22 runs, while Sidra Amin contributed 9 runs. Pakistan had faced 12 overs, losing 3 wickets and scoring 52 runs when the match was interrupted by rain. The encounter was reduced to 36 overs per side due to weather conditions. However, persistent rain eventually led to the match being called off without a result.
And that's a wrap of your news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Good night.